Prepare for some brutal honesty in the finance media about Tesla.
I got to ask you about Tesla. Huge month for Elon Musk and this company. Robotaxi is supposed to start in Austin. Is this a real inflection point for this company, or do you think there's still that quote-unquote cult of Elon that's going to continue to invest in this stock and believe in this company?
So I'm going to be very authentic and very humble here, and I'm going to tell you a lot of times people will come on the network and just pretend to know something about everything.
This is outrageous because it's true, and he said it, and he's a guest on CNBC. I think he's a regular contributor, right? You're not supposed to say that out loud, but it's so true. But this is the story of the finance media. Jim Cramer is the embodiment of having an opinion about everything, but every guest that they have on, every single guest who's ever appeared on CNBC has multiple opinions about multiple different stocks, multiple different companies. I've yet to see a one-trick pony, a specialist with extremely deep knowledge on a single topic. Whatever's flavor of the month, guests will come in to talk about that. But if you look at a single analyst, a money manager, you name it, anyone who appears on CNBC and shares their opinion, they also have opinions on many other companies and stocks. What this leads to most often is very wide but very shallow understanding. The fact that old mate here has literally said many guests come on CNBC and don't know what the fuck they're talking about is unbelievably honest. So here's the thing, it's pretty simple math. The more stocks that you have an opinion on, the more opportunities you have to share your opinion in the mainstream finance media, which is actually just an opportunity for you to promote your company, your product, your service, or your firm and earn commissions on clients you bring on board. 0 times in the history of a guest appearing on CNBC has the guest simply appeared on CNBC without CNBC mentioning the book they've just written, the name of their ETF, the name of their brokerage, the name of their product or service. It does not happen. By the way, there's nothing wrong with this. The whole thing is just a ferocious circle jerk of self-promotion. If you've got a business to promote and you want to grow, I highly recommend being an absolute media whore, taking advantage of every opportunity to appear in an article, on the television, even do podcasts with content creators. It's a great way to get the message out there and reach a wider audience, if that's your goal. The challenge here, specifically relating this point to Tesla, is you have an analyst, a stock analyst, who's covering 47 individual stocks. They specialize in the automotive industry. Tesla pops up more than a decade ago. Someone on the team says, hey, you're covering Tesla because you're the car company guy and they're just a car company. Car company guy says, okay, great. Oh, they are a car company. Cool. Wait, why are they valued it so much? This doesn't make sense. Sell the stock. Then you'll have this person appearing in the media day after day, week after week, saying Tesla's valuation doesn't make sense. They're just a car company. And here's the other thing. If there's a hot topic, something very timely that CNBC or any other financial outlet wants covered, they will reach out to people, often via DMs, emails, contact forms on websites, desperate to find somebody who's willing to share their opinion, potentially completely ill-informed on whatever the subject matter is. This is how you often end up with guests with no fucking idea what they're talking about. I'm still stunned at this level of honesty. To hear this said out loud on CNBC is unbelievable, but I'm here for it. And if we look at the historical record, it turns out that the majority of the time that anyone's been talking specifically about Tesla on CNBC over the last decade plus, most of the time they've been completely and utterly embarrassingly wrong. If they weren't, I would not have much to talk about.
It is such a complex story surrounding this company, and I spoke about this on Monday, and what I said on Monday is I don't have the ability, because the strategy that we're implementing, it's rules-based, it's non-discretionary, and we look at a universe of 500 stocks. If I could say, let's look at a universe of 499 stocks, I would do it, but I would have to change the SEC prospectus, and that's a big process to do it. I can't do it, but if you have discretion, I just don't understand. Look, it's a great company. He's a phenomenal innovator. He's one of the best business person in the world, but there's such complexity to understanding how you navigate the volatility. And just when you think the volatility simmers down, no, it reemerges once again. So,
well, this has taken an interesting turn. I thought where he was going with this was it's such a complicated company to understand. Their technology, artificial intelligence, neural network, computer vision, AI, data, autonomy, manufacturing expertise, electric vehicles, battery cells. I thought where he was going was it's really difficult to understand their company and therefore what the company's worth. But I forgot this is CNBC, of course, with the trader mentality. So it turns out I think he was actually explaining why it's very difficult to guess what the stock will do as opposed to understand the underlying company.
I don't know, it kind of overwhelms what is maybe a technology story related to Tesla itself. And it puts me in a position where I'm almost uncomfortable speaking about it because I feel uninformed.
It's not like you.
Okay, so now he is kind of going to that point, admitting he feels uncomfortable sharing his uninformed opinion because he is, in fact, quote, uninformed. Massive respect for this admission. You know, it's okay if you're asked to share opinion to say, I don't have any idea, or I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but at least put the caveat out there. I don't know what I'm talking about, but. And just to be clear, when it comes to Tesla, I do know what the fuck I'm talking about, but when it comes to almost everything else, I do not know what the fuck I am talking about. You got to respect this guy's honesty.
No, but I do. You feel uninformed speaking about it because you just don't know.
You're a lover of Tesla or you're a hater.
But you don't have to be. That's a choice.
So good call out here from the anchor. That's a strange thing to say. You're either a lover of Tesla or a hater. Why so binary? Why so emotional as well? I see a lot of opportunity in the future. I wouldn't call myself a lover of Tesla. I'm just extremely bullish on the future outlook of the company. Though there is a lot of this lover or hater mentality among many Tesla investors and or short sellers. And I think what this really illustrates fundamentally at its core is just the gaping chasm of understanding between people who get it and are informed and people who don't. If you don't get it, you don't see what Tesla's doing with AI, the generalized solution to autonomy. I could go on. You've heard the spiel 1 trillion times at least. You look at them and go, they're just a car company. What's a car company worth? What's Tesla worth? What the fuck doesn't make sense? Must be a cult. Hate the stock. I'm going to short it. Lose all my money. Move back into my parents' basement. I'm just kidding. I still live there. Don't tell anyone. Save up some money after doing some chores for mum, dad. Short it again. Lose more money. Live on ramen for a couple of months. Save up some more money. Short another share of Tesla and rinse, recycle, repeat. The only thing worse than investing from a place of ignorance is doing so from a place of emotion.
Can I run something by you? Guys,
I don't think it is, though. I actually don't think it is.
You don't think it? I mean, that's such a visceral reaction.
You could hate it, not just because of all the things that Joe talks about. Because as a fundamental investor into why I want to own this company, it can be rather difficult to navigate.
You can't own because of valuation.
I'll tell you what. If it's love or hate, tell me who's right. So Piper came out, reiterated overweight, $400 price target. Then Guggenheim came out reiterating sell 175 to 170. Directionally, who's right? Is it Piper or is it Guggenheim?
Here's what I'd say. This does not trade in fundamentals. It never did. It's always expensive. It's
fair.
A capital-intensive
We talked about the quote of Elon.
It's a capital.
But is it 175 or 400, Weiss? Which one's closer?
Look, I think that you've got enough sycophants and people that have posters of Elon Musk on their wall that just want to buy the stock and just don't pay attention to fundamentals.
All right, Snipe.
I hear this comment often from bears, skeptics, and Tesla short sellers, dismissively and derogatorily suggesting that anyone currently buying Tesla stock is basically an Elon D writer / fanboy / retard who doesn't understand valuation. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that own Tesla stock that don't know fuck about anything. Oh, I like Tesla, I'll buy the stock. Nothing wrong with that, whatever. But this is very insulting to those who've taken the time to build their own valuation models, to model out the potential implications of robotaxis at scale over a 10 plus year time horizon, to look at the impact of humanoid robots, and also many of which have been directionally correct with their modeling. And this is what I talked about earlier, the gaping void between people who get it and people who don't. If you don't get it, you look at Tesla, you look at a car company, you go, what, $1 trillion? That doesn't make fucking sense. Everyone buying the stock's retarded. Or, alternatively, if you have a little bit more humility, you go, hang on a minute, why would just a car company be valued as if they're not just a car company? Let me try to model and understand why investors are paying not just a car company prices for what I think is just a car company. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe these so-called fundamentals are actually simply a result of me looking at Tesla through just a car company coloured glasses. Here's a question for your neighbourhood Tesla bear next time you speak to him, her, whatever, when you're walking past the window of their basement at their parents' house. Show me your model for robotaxis and humanoid robots. The answer, of course, from them will be, I don't have one, because they'll never exist or it's irrelevant. That's always going to be the answer from a bear, saying that Tesla's valuation makes no sense. You won't find a single one who's actually modelled the what-if scenario for Tesla successfully scaling robotaxis. Zero. They don't exist. This is a separate argument, by the way, to what do you think the probability of Tesla being successful with robotaxis? But have they taken the time to at least model the implications if Tesla's successful? The answer is always no. Hence, you get comments like this. Something, detached from fundamentals.
400, 175.
Hold on, let me just finish. So if you took Musk's name off this and put somebody else there, and Musk is a story granted, you'd say capital-intensive company, allegedly a CEO who can't stay away from illicit drugs.
And so here's where the credibility just goes out the window. This guy's fucking brain dead, dude. Why would you say this? Oh, I know, because there's some fake news reporting in the fake news. This is one of those classic cases of Elon hatred manifesting itself in deranged conspiracies. By the way, just for the record, today, Elon Musk posts this with the caption, lol. A lab report, full drug test for essentially everything you can imagine. Results, by the way, for literally everything, negative, 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 everything negative. This tested everything. You can see on screen now. You name it, it's here. I haven't even heard of some of these things. When the best argument you've got for being negative on Tesla, the company, and the stock is some deranged conspiracy like Tesla's committing accounting fraud, or retail investors who buy Tesla stock are retarded, it's totally detached from fundamentals, or Elon Musk is allegedly on every drug known to man, you just lose all credibility. But what you do is reveal to the world, despite the fact that you don't realize it, you can't see, is that you're simply manifesting your own self-hatred. It's too uncomfortable to sit with that, so you need to project it outward, and the best target is Elon Musk. Because if Elon Musk is bad and Tesla commits accounting fraud and Elon's on lots of drugs, that means he's a bad person, and I'm not a bad person, and I don't hate myself, but I hate Elon because he's a bad person, because he does drugs and commits accounting fraud. P.S. Tesla's overvalued and Tesla investors are retarded. Poor dude needs some help.
Right, where the board, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, was going to conduct a search. There's nothing going for it. Robotaxis are a crowded space. They don't have the front edge there. Robots are a crowded space. They don't have the edge there.
Bro, this scope is hilarious. Robotaxis, crowded space. Come on, brother. Robotaxis today is a massive blue ocean. The first companies are just beginning to scale their piddly little fleets, many of which are in the tens, if not hundreds, and at most 1,000 or so robotaxis for an entire company. In the future, there'll be many millions. Crowded space, my ass. Same shit for humanoid robots. This is crazy cope. I mean, the guy's already thrown his credibility out the window, but this argument doesn't stand up to scrutiny. You can't say that autonomy, robotaxis, humanoid robots are crowded markets today. The only argument he could make would be Tesla's not going to be very successful in these gigantic new markets. He could make that argument, and at least it would be logical, if not completely wrong. But to suggest that robotaxi is crowded, this cope is just crazy, dude. Poor guy needs some help.
So what are you going to do?
All right, so neither for you, in all fairness. Snipe, 400, 175. Which one's closer?
I think it's 400. I mean, again, to Joe's point, it's a very difficult story to understand in certain respects, but...
Okay.
Loving the humility here as well. Two people on the panel admitting, I don't know shit about this, it's hard to understand. I almost don't want to share my opinion. Then you got Tard Burger on the right there, who's just exposed himself as extremely emotional again. It's just a coping strategy. Hates himself, projects it onto Elon because it's more comfortable to hate Elon instead of realizing that that's actually his own self-hatred, just trying to project it outward. Comes up with these ridiculous thoughts. Crowded, robotaxi crowded, humanoid robots crowded, Elon's on drugs, blah, blah, blah. Tesla investors are dumb. Stark contrast.
If I just kind of look at it simply, his refocus back on the business, I think, is an important catalyst. So I see it going on.
Shannon, you said it was love or hate. I'm going to let you go. 400, 175. Which one's directionally closer?
I cannot opine on that.
All right, fair enough. Restrictions, compliance and restrictions.
So, look, loving some of the brutal honesty here today, especially the guest earlier on saying there's people that come on CBS that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Absolutely true. One of them was sitting on the right of this panel. But I've got a request. Is there anyone watching who's aware of a Tesla skeptic, a Tesla bear? I'll have to exclude short sellers because, I mean, you've got to be so brain dead to be shorting Tesla stock ever that you don't pass the IQ test there. But any bears that at least seem to be trying their best and making reasonable, non-emotional arguments, as opposed to robotaxi is already crowded, humanoid robots are crowded, blah, blah, blah. Do they exist? If so, I've yet to discover one. Even a single Tesla bear that's happy and or content and or fulfilled in life in general. Do any of these exist? My observation so far has been 100% of the people that have been extremely skeptical and negative of Tesla, which always strangely somehow ends up in a conversation about Elon Musk as opposed to Tesla the company, seem to be, and I'm not making light here, genuinely extremely depressed, unhappy, unfulfilled, bitter, cynical, just psychologically dark and unwell. I hope they can get better. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.